Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I am your host, Nina Adio, and we are recording this and uploading it on Valentine's Day. So, happy Valentine's Day. I've already got something I love here with me. I've got the iced coffee today. This is in a Museum of Natural History Dinosaur timeline mug. So, if you've got a dino lover in your life, you can off their store online. Let me know if you're watching on YouTube. Put in the comments what you are enjoying as your beverage right now. But since it is Valentine's Day, what I wanted to talk about in this episode was one of my or is one of my true loves. It's work. I love my work, and so I wanted to talk about. We all hear that phrase of do what you love and you never will work a day in your life. So let's talk about how we can make that happen, the the phases of it as you build it, right? And we'll talk about what to do when the work you love maybe has elements that you don't love that are a part of it. And then at the end of this episode, we will have another mailbag segment. So let's get started. I think I'm not alone that I didn't start off just doing what I love. I did what I did in my free time, but when it came for money, there was this very obvious feeling when I would get up and go to work that I was doing it for a purpose, and the purpose was for money. It was not at all joy related, other than like, this is a job I can tolerate and do. Right. And at the time, so let's say when I first entered the workforce, there was no social media for businesses. It wasn't a monetized field yet. So in my free time, I would I would be on social media, not just for fun, but I would be thinking, how can I monetize it? So I started making different blogs, and I started doing affiliate links. This is way back, in the day. I made a blog that was all about like pop culture t-shirts, and then I would do affiliate links for all the t-shirts I would post. And then I would do print on demand, like Zazzle, where you create designs and then people can buy them. So I kept trying to think, I know I love social media, how can I monetize it? And those things didn't work to become a career, but they did work to put on my resume saying like, hey, I've got a blog with 500,000 followers worldwide. And that was able to get me the social media interviews, which led to me getting an administrative and social media job at a wedding venue. Now, I was talking with a friend of mine last night. He does genealogy, and he said that their way of knowing you love it is that if you're interested in it, even when it's not your family, and if you find that you are interested in even doing the boring stuff, like the reporting, making the reports and the big, detailed journaling. And I laughed because I remembered when I worked at the wedding venue saying, is this job still fun after you get married? And the girls all said no. But for me, it still was. I found myself, I was still just thinking about weddings all the time and wanting to be in that world. I would say that I enjoy watching other people's weddings and observing their trends and what they're doing more than I enjoyed planning my own. It's just something that I really found the joy in doing. And then it took time, once you're able to identify this is it, then you have to really craft, okay, so what does, oh gosh, what is that? That's a big old truck. um, then you have to determine, all right, how am I going to do this? And also, well, really, what does that look like for you? Because not everybody loves being the person that everyone wants to go to. And this is when I'm going to get into the elements of jobs that you may not love. You may not love being the person who has to do the sales and closes the deals and then implement the work. That's everything I'm doing right now in my business, all the things. And you may not like that. You may not want to be the one who's responsible for signing the checks and making sure everybody gets their needs met and the scheduling and so forth. So for you, loving your work, it doesn't have to mean being the owner, and I just want to make that clear because I think there's sometimes this pressure that, that freedom only equals, working for yourself, and that's not necessarily the case. There are so many people who love the brands they work for and with. And so I just wanted to make sure I express that that is an equal option here too. And that's really because the job you love, especially in the wedding industry, may come with things you hate. And what do we do then, right? Because one thing I think a lot of people hate, if they don't, then good on you, is the review process. Not necessarily the traditional review process, but what happens when people become unhinged, when people maybe just start review bombing you without a full understanding or a few full articulation of what happened, when people put negative reviews that normally wouldn't warrant a review. Okay, what I'm going to say is there's sometimes I'll see in Facebook groups someone will review a venue not even for the wedding service but just for the tour because they didn't like the salesperson. And it made me feel like, wow, we are not allowed to have bad days because now we're, having these reviews go up. And I just felt a wedding venue, I would prefer they be publicly reviewed for their weddings, right? And if you had a bad time with the salesperson, maybe you email, But people are, of course, entitled to their reviews, but that's a part of the business that sucks and that you hate. So then you have to think for each element that you dislike, you have to think, how can I make this better? All right, so what are some things that you can do? Well, maybe at the end of sales meetings, you give the business card of the manager and you say, if you had any concerns about your tour, here's who you contact. Or maybe checking the reviews is outsourced to somebody on your team and they only tell you the need to know stuff, and you're just like, just tell me what I need to know. So for all those aspects of what you don't like doing in your business, think about how you can bring it to a more joyful place. I've been doing social media for wedding industry specific clients. I started with that venue 10 years ago now. And I do wedding marketing 4 years ago. And right now I am, well, really 5 years. It's 2019, in the middle of 2019. And this past month has been a doozy, but it was when I finally stopped and was like, oh, there's a reason I do this. Like, it finally got to the point of being stressed to where I thought I have to do this because this is my livelihood. I've enjoyed it so much. I was able to go 4.5 years before even thinking like, I don't have a choice. I have to keep doing this. This is how I make money. But but I obviously didn't like having that feeling. So I had to think like, why am I stopping myself? Where am I getting in my head? What is making me react this way? And then thinking, all right, now we gotta put on, our big girl pants, as they say, and do better and work around these things that are kind of taking the joy out of the job. Same week that I was like, okay, I also have like no hobbies that I do in my home other than like nap, read, and work. That's just what I do. And when I'm doing a hobby, it's really not a hobby. Like, I'm watching YouTube videos about how to improve my work or podcasts. I do have my true crime, okay? But I was finding that I was lacking in the hobbies, and I really like to write. And so I started this week, starting off the morning, just writing a little more than I normally would in my Facebook group, just writing an update for the day that to me felt meaningful. And I loved it. I was having so much fun. It's only been, 2 or 3 days of it, but it's just been such a relaxing start to start the day doing something I love that I wasn't applying to work. And I know maybe that doesn't sound like the answer. Like I said, I had no hobbies, so now I'm applying it to work. But it is. I'm working on the hobbies. Okay, I'm working on that. I ordered my latest paint by number kit, so we're working on it. But how can you bring more of what you love into your business? Just like I said, I started bringing back more writing because that is what I loved. I love self expression, getting to share, getting to communicate with others, and getting to offer something to others. And I'm pausing because I don't want to make this seem too much about me because I'm trying to really make this be inspiring for you. But something that happened to me yesterday was I had a client have a really great achievement. So happy for them. This is going to be a really big deal for their business. And they sent me a voice message to thank me and say that I was a part of it. And that was just mind blowing. One, because they are, obviously very deserving of it on their own. But two, what an amazing feeling that when somebody achieves something in their business, which is their love and passion, that they felt that I was a part of it. And so I ask you to tap into that feeling when working with your couples or working with other vendors. If you're business to business like I am, what is that moment? How do you help other people achieve what their love and passion is, right? Whether it's the incredible event, the incredible wedding, the success in their job, and relate loving what you do to them loving what they're paying you for, right? Which is the experience, the event, or the service. I think also, I hear a lot of people say how they don't love social media. So let's think about the elements of your job that you do love and how you can show that on social media. And also to remember that being on social media does not literally mean being on social media at all times, right? You can benefit from social media by posting sporadically, by posting 1 to 2 times a week, and make the posts that you do, you make them show that love, make them show that passion. There are wedding professionals who I know who love what they do, and they're not posting every day, but they do updates of a new product they created or photos from a wedding that they just got in, and the captions are always very heartfelt because they're about what they loved about the process. So just think about those things that you can work in to your social media without the pressure of having to love the act of being on social media, right? I would never tell anybody to compromise their well-being, right? Because social media isn't always a positive place for people, and if it's not, it's okay. I say post it from Facebook, to go to Facebook and Instagram or whichever one is safer for you. Post it from there, or find the platform that you like best. Maybe you just want to go all in on Pinterest. Maybe you love that. Pinterest is a very different place because you don't get like the comments, so maybe that's where you want to hang out, but there are ways you can weigh what you love and don't and apply it to social media and still see traction for your business from it. So that's what I'm going to leave with you regarding love for your business today. But now let's get to the mailbag. If you have a question for me that you'd like me to answer, you can join the I Do Wedding Marketing Facebook group, or just email me at hello@IDoWeddingMarketing and put in the subject line podcast question. I was actually in another group for the Wedding Summit series, but I wanted to share a bit of my answer here as well. I answered in the group, but was tagged in it to answer. Somebody asked, are they any good online resources or courses on Instagram Reels specifically? I find myself avoiding them. I see so many fun reels from others that seem like they should be easy to make, yet I have no clue how to, or it takes me forever and it's still mediocre. I appreciate anything you found valuable and helpful, free or paid. So I do want to mention in the comments, it was shared that Brandy Gar has an Instagram Reels course. So I haven't tried that, but that's a place where people can look. And what I wanted to recommend to the poster and anyone who feels this way is, once again, it's like, okay, where do you love? Like, if you're, maybe she's not connecting with the Instagram Reels platform, of how that interface is. So I would recommend downloading an app like CapCut. CapCut has all the templates with the audio paired there for you. So that eliminates the need of having to find and sync the audio. The other suggestion, if you're not doing Instagram's own native Reels creator, you could, if you're comfortable on Canva, you could try Canva. Canva is challenging because you have to add the audio and add the text. But if you're already comfortable on Canva, then that may work for you. So that is what I wanted to suggest first for anybody who is feeling that way about Instagram ads. And then lastly would be to find a user who has templates. They're not as streamlined to find on Instagram. I have some accounts I love for templates. So if you want to message me, I'll let you know some of those. But I would recommend trying CapCut first if you're struggling with Reels. Is this? So the next question I have is from Meg. She sent a message saying, she sent an email. How many DMs should I be sending in a day? I want to start reaching out to couples I see engaged about a promotional discount I'm doing on packages. Will I get flagged? For reference, I am a wedding planner. Okay, so it looks like, so I see this when I'm doing engagement. I'll see couples who are getting engaged. So it looks like Meg wants to then send them a DM rather than just leave a comment or like their post. She wants to send them an actual message, letting them know she's doing a promotional discount. I mean, I think that's a great idea and approach to try, especially if you really want to get them bookings, right? So I wouldn't send more than 10 a day because you do not want spammy behavior happening. I'm trying to think if there are other platforms where you could kind of spread the time, like I'll do 10 here and 10 on Facebook, but I don't think you really get access to people in the same way on Facebook where you'd be able to message them. But what you could do is if 10 didn't feel like enough for you, up to 10 on Instagram, and then maybe you post in some Facebook groups, or I don't know if you can message people if you saw them posting in Facebook groups and then message them, but that might get you kicked out of the group. So I don't necessarily want to say that. You got to play by the rules, right? But I would do more than 10 in a day, or I would make sure there was a large gap of hours in between the time block. So maybe 10 in the morning, 10 at night, or something like that. But that is how I would approach that. And that was our mailbag segment for this time. Hopefully, we'll get some more next week because I'm having a lot of fun with this. So make sure you send in your questions so I can answer them here on the podcast. If you have enjoyed this podcast or any of our past episodes with love on our minds, if you would consider leaving a review, it helps more people to reach the podcast. And I love this little guy. I love this baby. We're just this low production podcast, having fun, traffic and birds in the background. But it seems like the faithful, loyal followers I have are here for it. So I am loving it. You guys, if you haven't listened to the episode with Whitney Hodges from Wedding Industry Ads, I will recommend that you go back and do that. They're actually doing a Valentine's Day promotion for their Meta Ads VIP day. I think that is until February 16th. So hopefully you're listening to this live for that and you'll want to check it out. If you are someone who maybe you don't have a wedding venue budget for doing ads, this is the opportunity to get it done at a budget that you can more likely be able to wrap your head around, right? Because ads can be a lot, but this is a nice tangible price point to be at. So definitely check out Wedding Industry Ads. And then I'm going to have another interview coming up with Brian Lawrence from Brian Lawrence Weddings, and he's going to be talking about having a ADA compliant website, and he's going to be talking about making your website accessible for everybody, so people who are hearing impaired and other elements. And I think that's going to be really helpful to everybody. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that, and I will see you on the next Wedding Wednesday.